All right, welcome to the Beauty Business Strategies podcast. I'm really excited about today because I'm joined by a great friend, Deja Coleman from Goldwaves Salon. Deja, how are you?
Hi, I'm really great.
Good, good. So, part of today, and the reason I'm excited to talk with you today, Deja, is because I think it's always exciting to get different perspectives on our industry, and really more in particular, just on being a part of a team, as a member of a team, and being a part of a team-based culture that Goldwaves is. But I think it's always interesting to get perspectives on things and, hear a point of view. And so really, that's kind of the main reason that I wanted to connect with you today, is just get those perspectives. So
Yeah.
before we dive into it, I think it's just important to kind of just give an introduction of yourself when it comes to, how long you've been in the industry, kind of what your role is within Goldwaves itself, your role as a team member, how long you've been a part of it, all of that. So give us a little history.
Okay. I started in our industry when I was really young. This is my 23rd or 24th year now. And I started in Pennsylvania. I ultimately migrated to Texas. I've done everything from education, full-time stylist behind the chair, educator in the salon. And right now, as it stands, I am a full-time stylist at Goldwaves. I'm also the color education educator, and I wear a lot of other hats as well, with competing, doing hair, and doing all kinds of fun projects. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Cool.
In a
Well,
nutshell.
we're definitely going to talk about some of those fun projects, other things you're involved with, for sure, because it's just awesome, and it's cool to talk about for sure. Let me ask this. You mentioned the idea. Started out in Pennsylvania, been in the industry now, we'll just say 25 years, which is crazy to think
Yeah,
about, because there's no way you look like you've been in the industry for 25 years, Deja.
I
That's the
appreciate
first thing.
that.
Because I myself still describe myself, I was in the industry for 25 years. I look way, way older. Something's
Well,
wrong
I
with me, I
appreciate
guess.
that.
But between Pennsylvania and then as you went to Texas, how many businesses, salons were you a part of before you ended up at Goldwaves?
That's a really good question. So I was a stylist at, let's see, one, two, three, four different salons before I was at Goldwaves. But being an educator, I was in a lot of salons all the time, working with them and seeing what their day-to-day was as well. So I've been part of a lot of salons, but personally, I've worked at four.
Gotcha. So
Mhm.
when it comes to what you've been a part of, and also just what you observe, as you said, as an educator and being out there and being a part of different cultures, being in different businesses, what do you see? What are the differences that you see between? And here's how I want to kind of ask this question. I think is
Mhm.
a lot of businesses out there. Every time I go and work with someone or talk to someone new, it's like everyone's standard line is, "We have a great team."
Sure.
And and I understand why people say that, because again, they do overall, they like the people that work for them, they like the people that they work with, they do
Mhm.
consider themselves to be, part of a team. But I think that we all kind of know, when we really dissect that a little bit, there's a real big difference between really being a team and saying
Mhm.
that we like our teammates or things like that. What would
Right.
you identify as kind of your observations on what's the difference between a team by verbiage and really being a team when it comes to the day-to-day and actions?
Yeah, there is a huge difference. I didn't know. I thought I knew what a team meant until I really was immersed in the culture of Goldwaves. I thought that it was, everybody getting along, and you kind of look out for each other when you can, but you're always the first priority, that kind of thing. And I feel like that's the majority of businesses that I've been in. That's kind of the idea. Everybody's amicable, but you kind of go about doing your own thing. But with like Goldwaves, it's literally a culture that is taught from the very first day that you work there. And it's about being conscious of yourself, but also like everyone else around you. And it's your first instinct going to, how can, not only can I help myself, but how can I help everyone else around me? And just really being conscious of it. But it is cultural, and it's taught from like the first day that you're, in a business.
How do you stay personally motivated each day to go in and be a good teammate? Because, I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
We all know not every day is a banner day. Not every day is like, yeah, rah, rah, and we're on the best of our game. And you know what? We go through phases in life where sometimes we just get into frustrations. Maybe there's, again, we can't paint the picture that, hey, listen, we'd be lying if we said that every day, in particular where you are at Goldwaves, is the perfect day. It's not like we don't have frustrations or challenges or
You're
things
right.
of that nature. Every business has that, right? Every business has
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So how do you stay on top of your game, or when you get into those moments where it's just like, you know what, things are, I guess lack of a better way to describe it, when we're in that negative space at times but you're still a part of a team, how does it look then? How do you get yourself out of that, or how does team support that? Or just what happens
Yeah.
when things aren't just perfect?
Yeah, because you're right. I mean, there's so many different personalities and so much different energy that it can go one way or the other, and nothing is perfect. Even with culture, nothing's perfect. But the great thing about that is we also have built a team where if I'm not having a good day, I can be transparent. And it's all about communication and just saying, hey guys, I'm really struggling. I didn't sleep well last night, or, something is going on. Just know that. And if you guys need anything extra from me, please feel free. Like, my door is open, but I feel like your other teammates have to be, honest with you and have to communicate with you, but you've got to leave that door open so that you're approachable, even in moments when they're not your best,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I love you keep talking. You've used the word a couple of times in there, communication. And, it's one of this has been my personal soapbox for the last year to year and a half or so, is because I think that, as you just said, when communication breaks down, and you gave a great example about how when communication is good, I feel in a place where I can communicate with my teammates about where I am. That creates a feeling of understanding and trust on your end. And so communication being a key piece, how do you think a team environment, how do you foster better, maybe that's the right question I want to ask is, how do you, maybe yourself personally or your observations about as a company, because just real quick, for those that might not be familiar, I kind of make some assumptions in my brain. Not everyone knows how big Goldwaves is. What's the Goldwaves total population right now from team members?
Let's see. We have 24-ish
Okay.
team members. Yeah. And
Right?
that's everyone. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got 20 plus people as a part of this team. Going back to it is, again, how does that continue to get built stronger in your environment? Because, man, when there's 24 different lines of communication that could possibly happen, a lot of things
Yeah.
can break down pretty quickly.
I agree. We always start off every morning with a 10-minute huddle, and we all trade out who is going to deliver the information. So it's not just always coming from one person, but we talk about our goal. We talk about openings that we have, new clients that we might have in the building. And this is the perfect time to communicate between us, like, hey, this is going on and I'm going to need help at 3:00 or whatever. Like, we're all setting each other up to have the best day possible. And that's when you can feel free and open to say, man, I'm struggling, or I'm having the best day ever, and I want to share that, So I think getting all on the same page, again, going back to communication, is really important. And we all start out every single day with our team on that leg. So yeah.
I love it. So let's get back into, kind of where we started with this conversation, which is, hey, listen, you as a experienced veteran stylist being a part of this team, what have you seen, like your journey from when you first started to now? What have you seen what's the benefit to you being part of a stronger team culture, just as a hairdresser, just as a person?
Yeah.
What are the greatest strengths that you observe from that?
Wow. Well, first of all, I had a really good friend whenever I was thinking about going back behind the chair 100%, because I was an educator. I was also behind the chair a little bit, but I was making a really long commute. My work-life balance wasn't great. And she knew that I really wanted to get back into creative work, and that it wasn't possible in the space with the team that I was at the time. And so this lady was like, this is team-based pay. It's different, but it's amazing. And these people are awesome. And I'd never heard of it before. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I'll give it a shot. And so I started talking with the owners, and we talked for a long time. And they said, there's a lot of opportunity and stuff, but I had no idea until I actually got in and realized that, if I had never been with these people in this space with this team, there's no way that I could have gotten more creative, that I've gotten myself out there and gotten goals done that I've been meaning to do for years. They support me. They are excited for me when things happen. I'm, same way for them. But there's no way that I would be able to be where I'm at doing what I'm doing on a personal level if it wasn't for the love and the support of the team every day.
All right. I love that. I mean, that's a great segue into, and I want to, a couple places I want to go, but it's a perfect time to start to bring this up because, again, I know your involvement in so many other areas, like you talked about educator and things of that nature, but talk about the opportunities that you would say personally, that you would say, you know what, because I'm a part of this type of a culture, a part of a team, what doors do you feel that's open for you that maybe you would say would have been, I'm not going to say these doors would be closed, but what doors would have been a lot harder to get through if it were just like a me, myself, and I kind of, I'm trying to do this all on my own versus what you're doing and the things that you're accomplishing as being part of the team environment. Talk a little bit about how that growth and the things you're engaged with and involved with.
So I think obviously the number one thing is monetary. I think that I'm able to make more now in the time I'm behind the chair than I ever have been working solo. We have apprentices, but we also have each other. And so if there's somebody that calls up and says, I need this big color service or I need multiple services, and I can only fit them in for, the major parts of that service, I always have a team that I can fall on that can help me with the smaller parts of that, like rough drying, shampooing, glossing, doing small things that I would have never had that on my book. And then in return would have never been part of our team goal. And when we meet team goals, we get bonuses. When we meet team goals, we get to go to education that is pretty expensive, if you're trying to do it individually. So not only am I seeing more money, and I have amazing work-life balance because I have a much smaller amount of hours that I have to fit everything in, but I'm able to fit it in because I have other people that are helping me as well. So everything is much more possible.
I love that,
Yeah.
and again, it's exactly it. We talk about this, that whole idea is exactly that, as you talked about. hey, listen, if I know my team is there where maybe myself or someone else can get in a service that we would never be able to do on our own, it helps us to reach our goals easier as a team. And then that therefore can come back to benefit
100%.
all of us,
Yeah.
yourself included,
Yep.
through, like I said, through whether it's just our weekly paychecks, or it comes down to, as you mentioned, other things, the opportunities to do education and things of that nature. Now, here's something I got to have to start bragging about yourself a little bit, Deja. All right, I'm going to make you brag a little bit about yourself, and I want to just see again where team has helped to support this. Certainly, this comes down to, all right, we got to have the motivation, we got to have things like that, but we're also, maybe it's been supported through the culture or the environment. But let's talk a little bit about the fact that, you mentioned, I work as a, educator, and I do a few other things kind of on the side. You've been very coy about it, but it's like, there's these things called like NAHA award winner and things of that nature. Give us a little brag time, Deja. So I need a little bit of brag time about yourself.
Okay. Well, in my career, I'd always have this like big thought process of I want to put myself out there. I want to put my projects out there that I have in my head. I've always wanted to do photo shoots and do collections and creative work. And I've never been in a space that I was creatively free to do those things. And that I felt like no matter what, my team truly, and I know this sounds very cliche, but my team truly makes me feel like, don't ever let anything tell you you can't. And I've always been in a space where I've always told myself that I couldn't for one reason or another. But I got with, the Goldwell team and the Goldwaves team, both. I love Goldwell and I love Goldwaves. Goldwell is really what sent me in a direction of, I felt like I had a platform that I could finally be competitive on. And I went back, to the owners, and I told them, I was like, I really want to do this. And not only did they support me, but they brought in educators and hooked me up with them. And if it weren't for my connection with them, I placed silver for the United States for creative color for Goldwell Creative Awards last year. I placed fourth for International Beauty Industry Awards for a semifinalist for a wig that I built. And then this year, I'm on a team and we are finalists for North American Hairstylist of the Year. So all of that very, very short time that happened. It was like less than 2 years.
I was going to say, it's been a crazy 18-month ride.
It has.
It's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And like you were saying before we started up the podcast, like you were saying, it's like this year I don't want silver, I want gold, and we want, you know what I mean? And there's these things, and I love that. And what I love about it is the fact that, not only is this, an awesome thing that you're doing and the drive and things, but also how, as you said, I've got a group of people around me that support and help me, support me, whether it's through just direct assistance, or maybe it's just, just the emotional support, or even just the support, the fact that, working together as a team, as you said, is, hey, listen, I'm doing my best, but I don't have to always be a big revenue producer to still continue to earn what I need to earn for my own personal life. And that in that aspect, that I know I've got a team of people, we're all pulling toward reaching our goals, which helps me. That supports me in a much different way, where I can do other projects that help elevate the business in general, but not always the direct line is, it's not always I'm coming back and generating a revenue to help elevate the business. Because what you're doing elevates Goldwaves and the people that are part of that team through NAHA and all these things in a very strong but indirect way. So I think that's fantastic. As we start to kind of get near a little bit of the end of our time, man, we could talk a whole lot longer for sure. But I guess one of my, here's the perspective I want you to take now is, you now as, experienced in the industry, where you are with just your accomplishments and where you stand in Goldwaves as a part of that team and the role you take on there. What's your perspective on someone brand new that enters
Mhm.
in that might walk in the door at Goldwaves now? Now they're the person that might be, let's just say, hey, listen, they're fresh out of school, and now this is their first stopping point, and their first job in the industry. How do you see team benefiting that person that's like brand new? Because I know you got great perspective on that because you're seeing that, you're observing that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do you look at that?
I feel like they are at a huge advantage. Like I wish that I was born into my career into, something like this, because I don't know what I would have done, earlier, younger Deja. I don't know what she would have done if she would have had the opportunities, from a much younger standpoint in the career. So, I think that not only are they at a huge advantage, but I feel like it lends itself to, like in our salon, we have an apprentice program. And so our apprentices are so supported, and they go through haircutting education, styling education, color education before they are even out on the floor. And so we're making sure that our quality and their quality and everybody is comfortable is all there before they even, touch guests. So they get education, they get an amazing team. They are learning, because that is so super important. And then, just learning all the ways that they can be successful as fast as they can. Whereas like being by themselves, like you only know what and when you have a team, it's just so much more powerful.
I'm thinking, and I'm going to ask you to give one word as a descriptor, and I'll kind of get it started. Out of today, what I heard was this. It's almost like if I had to kind of summarize today's, our conversation today and say, if I would identify like in one word, what's the benefit of from your perspective, your point of view,
Mhm.
what's one word that'd be like the benefit of being part of a team culture or seeking out a team culture? If you're out there and you feel like, man, if you're listening and you're like, man, I would love to have what I'm hearing, like I want to have what Deja has. Like, what's Goldwave's address? Like, I need to maybe I need to move to Fort Worth
Come
and
on.
get myself come on down to Texas. But if I'm looking for a team or something like that in my area, I think the one word I would describe that came out of today was I just feel like the underlying is you talked a lot about the word support, and I think that's the key word that I would use is I feel like everything you talked about, whether it's someone brand new or maybe someone that's more veteran in the industry or things like that, is being part of a team offers you support. And man, you could take that, a lot of different ways, whether it's support personally or support creatively or support just in our day-to-day or, in our work, in our culture, things of that nature. So I think support stands out to me. If you had to give one word to kind of just describe in general, just not only just the conversation today, but just being part of a team or that environment, what one word would stand out to you?
I think the number one thing is opportunity. I think that a team offers more opportunity than being solo ever could in so many ways.
Boom. I mean, that's it. Done. That's it. Done. We don't need to say anymore. We don't need to make a big deal. I think you hit it perfectly. I think that's
Perfect.
awesome. And I think it's a great,
Yes.
I think that's a great observation just to say, hey, listen, again, 25 years now in the industry. It's like you've been in all different phases, all different environments, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like your perspective now is just like all I see is even this point in your career, all I see is opportunity. Probably opportunity for you
100%.
still continue to grow, but opportunity for people like we just talked about, someone that's brand new.
Yes.
So I think that's a great way to wrap today up. Deja,
Yeah.
man, it's been awesome talking to you. Thank you so much for
Same.
joining us.
Thank you for
So
having me.
awesome. And best of luck with all of the things that you're doing. Best of luck with,
Yeah.
like I said, all the stuff like between NAHA and all the different things that you're involved with as an educator and whatnot. Man, wish you the best.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. And thank you to everyone else that's joined us today on today's podcast. Again, we look forward to talking to you soon. But between now and then, have a great day.
Thanks again for listening to the Beauty Business Strategies podcast. If you like this episode, be sure to hit follow to learn more about how strategies can help create more fun, profit, and growth potential for you, your company, and your team. We invite you to schedule a free 60-minute strategy session by clicking the direct link in the description of this episode.